Okay. And then Logan's ready to go up there. So I'll just put my laptop up there.
How come this isn't on?
There it is.
Hello, everybody. We need absolute silence. Who's laughing? You can? All right. We're going to start the meeting. We have quite a few new people here, which is nice to see. So I'll kind of give you a quick rundown. My name is Mark Hammond. I'm the chair of House District 6 and the finance chair of House District 6. They are totally different. One raises money, one gets people to come give money. So I want to introduce a couple of people. Nick DeSalvo is our new 6A captain. Ryan Feeney is our 6A co-captain, but he's at his brother's graduation in Ohio, I think. The 6B captain until midnight tonight is Karen Zazzaretti. But Karen resigned about 2 months ago, and her last official day is today. And she's not here because she's sick. So, hope she's feeling better. It sounded fairly serious to me. But we will be holding an election at our August meeting for a new 6B captain. You will get a letter from me as the chair of the district. If you're interested in running, you can send me your intent to run. I already have 2 people that have sent me letters saying they would like to run for captain. But you don't need to do anything right now. We will vote at our August meeting. And if you're on the Central Committee of 6B, which means you're a PO, you're an elected official, you're trying to think of who else there is, you get a vote. But it'll say all that in the letter you're going to get in early July. All right, first, I want to thank the people that bring food. So, first, I want to thank C.L. Harmer, who's over there. Ellen Shreves, who is right there. Wendy Rioch, where are you? Wendy's in the kitchen, I think. June Gordon is at the check-in table. Cindy Lou Peniston, there you are. Thank you. Randy Ross never fails every month to bring the most delicious brownies. So I want to tell you something about the food arrangement that almost didn't happen tonight. We have sign-ups all the time. And I call people and say, do you know what you're going to bring, blah, 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 because we don't want 10 lasagnas and nothing else. 3 of the 8 people that signed up for tonight could not be here. And so I took them off the list, and I was like, okay, I think we're going to be short some food. And Sean Camacho, our state representative, called me, I think Sunday, and said, you know, I won't be at the meeting Tuesday. I have a business meeting in California. I know that. Do you need anything from me? Yeah, we could use food. And lo and behold, where's Henry?
Who's back there, Mark?
Stand up, Henry. Henry is Sean's aide, and Henry said, I will go get pizzas and bring them. So they're from Sean, even though he's not here. So thank you, Representative Camacho. Okay, now, if you want to sign up to bring food, which we desperately need people to sign up for, this is for August and September. Let's get this passed around. Sign up for one of the months. I will contact you. What do you want to bring? So I'm going to start over here and let it go all the way around the room. All right, next thing I need to do is beg for dollars. So we have a lot of expenses. We have to pay for this church. We have to pay dues. We have to buy supplies. So as a finance chair, I'm asking everybody to try to chip in $5, $10, $20, whatever you can do. There's a QR code over by that bowl sitting kind of behind Councilman Hines. There it is. You can either do that and pay that way, or you can fill out a BRE, which is the little white envelope. Thank you, Vanna.
You're welcome back.
So let's try to hit $500 tonight, because we've been doing really well, but we don't have a meeting next month, so let's try to do well tonight. For those of you who have not been involved for a long time, next month we have no meeting, but we have our summer picnic. It's Sunday, July 19th. It is from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock at Great Lawn Lowry Park. We will be sending out a flyer in about 2 weeks. We'll have that ready to go. My other ask, raise your hand if you are a Century Club member. Not bad. There is one new person that I've been trying to get for 4 years. Century Club is the largest fundraiser for the county party. We have about 500 members. You can join anywhere from $10 a month to all the way up to $90 a month. You can do annual, which is $100. There's different levels. We need to keep Century Club really strong because that's what pays for getting out the vote. And the reason I'm asking that here, and not separate from House District 6 donations, I'm the county fundraiser. So this is separate from HD6. So I hope people will join. Next Thursday night is the Denver Dems Spring Summer Fundraiser. It's at, what is it, Spring Mood? Mood Swing or Spring? Mood Swing. I've never been there. Matthew can tell you about it.
It's on the table.
Yeah, there's flyers on all the tables. If you want to join us, get a ticket. Should be a lot of fun. I hear you can play pickleball there and do other stuff. So that's next Thursday, the 11th. And then the Denver Democrat annual dinner is August 15th. That's going to be at Mile High Station, which is a new location. We've never had it there, but we're excited. Tickets go on sale next Monday, and you should be getting emails saying, don't forget, tickets are coming up. I know inevitably somebody's going to ask me, Who's the keynote speaker?
Who's the keynote speaker?
I don't hear a thing. Somebody say something? We don't know who the keynote speaker is. We are working on that. We have a committee of 10, the dinner committee, who meet regularly, and we're trying to contact different names that you would know. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will know who the keynote speaker is, and we will announce that.
John? I'm the person who.
Good job. I know.
Okay, last thing. Next Monday, week from yesterday, Denver elections are mailing out the ballots. Hey, Paul Lopez. Paul Lopez is in the back. He's our clerk and recorder. So you do realize that now that you got applause, when you come up here to speak, you don't get any applause. So look for the ballot in your mailbox, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I can tell you that this Friday, I will be down at Denver Elections doing LAT, which is logic and accuracy testing of the ballots. It's actually a lot of fun. I've been doing it for 10 years. I represent the Denver Democratic Party, and should be an interesting election. Last thing I want to bring up, I don't know how many people saw the news yesterday or read a paper today. City Councilwoman Sarah Parody, who is at large, is pretty sick, and she's going to have to resign. She's not even done with her first 4-year term, but she will be resigning August 5th. So there will be an election to replace her in the November midterm election. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I hope you will all think positive, good thoughts for her. She's a really special person. I got to know her really well when she was running, and it's really sad because she loves this job. But just think about her and keep her in positive thoughts. And now it's my job to introduce Kathy Wilson, who will do an introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. You all know me as the timekeeper, but I didn't have any power over it. All right. I am introducing, it's my honor to introduce Senator Bennett. I want you to know he was elected way before I lived in Denver, 2009.
1 million years ago.
Well, no, not quite. And he, at that time, I don't know if you knew it, he was the youngest senator at that time. See, I read
Nice
about
job.
you. Yes. Yeah. So let's welcome Senator Bennett.
Thank you.
I only thank you, Kathy. Thank you all for being here tonight. I really am grateful to have the chance to be with you. Who is the second youngest senator? Who came in after me?
Oh, a woman.
That's true. Kirsten Gillibrand from New York.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. I want to say how grateful I am that all of you care enough about our democracy to be here, care enough about the future of our country to be here. This is a tough time. We are living at a profoundly reactionary period in American history, as you know. That's not unheard of in American history. Going back to the founding, we've had these moments where there have been versions of Donald Trump that have been in charge from the very beginning, and here we find ourselves again. And every single time we've dug ourselves out, every single time the American people have risen above the moment that we're in, and I believe very so. See, I'm already cut off. Kathy, that's rough.
I know, it's not right.
She's cleaning up the floor, and I'm cut off.
You're not cut.
And
You have 40 more seconds.
thank you. Can you hear me? Is that all right if I can hear? Every single time the American people have rallied, and we're going to rally again. We are going to rally again. That is not a naive thing to say. And frankly, we have a responsibility. Those of us that know something about American history, we have a responsibility to transmit to the next generation the notion that they can't give up hope. Because if we do that, we dishonor the people that have actually been through even worse times than this. Donald Trump is the worst president in American history. That is a fact. That is a fact. He is the worst president going back to the beginning of this country. But this is not the worst moment in American history. And we will dig out, just the way that women did when they were fighting for 100 years for the right to vote. The same way when John Lewis was subjecting his skull to the Billy Club on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I can tell you, no matter what anybody here thinks about how corrupt this government is, which is completely corrupt, John Lewis had every reason to believe this country was more corrupt than we believe now. And yet he was out there on that bridge sacrificing his skull, not for John Lewis, but for the sake of our democracy. And by the way, he was barely older than the young people that are here. Admit that. He was barely older than them. And that is the moment that we're in right now. I don't have time in my 10 minutes to tell you the horrible story about how we lost 2 national elections to Donald Trump. I blame Trump for all kinds of things, but getting elected is not one of those things. I blame the National Democratic Party, of which I'm a part, for losing to Donald Trump. And now our kids are paying the price. Our grandkids are paying the price because we were not able to provide the leadership that was needed at the time. And we're living in a country right now where the American dream is too far out of reach for too many people. No matter how hard they work, they can't get ahead. We're living in a gilded age, just like the one 100 years ago, only now it's Zuckerberg, not Rockefeller, and he's drilling for oil in our kids' bedrooms, but not the literal drilling for oil that Rockefeller was doing. And there are a lot of reasons for the American people to be discontent with the world that we're in, and they have voted twice for chaos and for division and for the hatred even that Donald Trump represents. And there's a lot of folks in this country, too, who feel like there's no way we're ever going to be able to fix the challenges that we're facing. We're too divided. It's too broken. The problems are too big for us to address. And if we had that defeatist attitude on the way here, we would have never gotten here to begin with. Colorado's got some severe challenges. We are now the 3rd most expensive state in America. It is impossible for people to live a middle-class life in this state, no matter how hard they work. There is no county in this state where anybody thinks their kids are going to be able to afford to live here. Not one. Not one. When I followed my wife, Susan, here, who I hope some of you know because she's actually a decent person in my family. She was a lawyer who had a job. We were able to buy a house at 23rd and Elm in Park Hill. We were able to raise those awesome 3 daughters. We lived the American dream here in Colorado. And now when I have town halls around this state, all over the state, the Eastern Plains, the Denver metro area, the western slope of Colorado, people are crying because they can't raise a family here. Or they're saying, we had one kid, we'll never have another kid. Am I done?
No.
We'll never have another kid because it costs $20,000 a kid for child care in Colorado. That's the 2nd or 3rd highest price in America. We have the highest price for housing. We have to fix these problems. That is completely unacceptable to me as a citizen of this state. Completely unacceptable. And we have failed to address it. We have failed to address it. And unless we fix it, we're going to find ourselves in this state beginning to move toward the column of Donald Trump. I hate to tell you that. I hate to tell you that. And that's how serious this is. So when you say it's existential, when you say how much you hate this president because he is the worst president in American history, when you say that we have to rise to this moment, that's all this campaign is for me. At this stage of my life, all I want to do is make sure we turn the keys over to our kids in a way that makes us proud. That we're giving them an opportunity that we have. That we're giving them the chance to be able to take over this democracy in this country and help reestablish America's place in the world. And we are so far from being able to do that right now. We are in a tough spot. Coloring inside the lines is not going to fix the challenges that we have to face. And I know there are people in this room that know my history. I have a checkered history. I've been in the private sector, which some people don't love in the Democratic primary, but I think it's useful to have had that experience. I've been the superintendent of the largest school district in Colorado, and we may have had disagreements, but there was more student achievement growth in that district when I was there than in any urban school district in America. And we fixed the budget crisis, and we saved the teacher's pension in DPS as a result of the work that I was doing there. If people describe it as controversial, yeah, because I wasn't attached to the status quo, and we can't be attached to the status quo today. We can't. We need somebody in this job who can tell the truth and who is tough enough to make the decisions that have to be made. And what we've been doing for the last 20 years isn't going to work. It will not work. So I would love your support in this race for governor. I hope, I am grateful for all the people that I've run into during the course of this campaign who said, Michael, I love having you in the U.S. Senate. Why don't you just stay there?
Oh, I never said that.
Bill Weiser said it enough times for you. There isn't a person in Colorado who's more happy with my Senate service than my friend Phil Weiser. And if he were here, he would say, your mom. And he would be right about that, because like any mom who's got a kid in the U.S. Senate, my mom would very happily have me die on the floor of the U.S. Senate. In fact, that is her aspiration for me. And in the meantime, she would love to watch me rip Bobby Kennedy's face off one more time or two more times. She loves that. She loves that. But the moment that we're in is too serious for that. And I am bringing to this campaign not just a very unusual set of experiences outside of politics, and not just an unusual set of experience in education, but 3 terms in the Senate serving at the highest level. And I hope you don't think I've embarrassed you there. I hope you think I've been a leader there. I have been a leader. And I've called the question on my own party, your party, when it was letting down my kids and your kids, and my kids and grandkids. I was the first national Democrat to say we were going to lose in a landslide when Joe Biden made the mistake of getting obliterated by Donald Trump on the debate stage, because that's too costly for us. And so I just would ask you, I know there are a lot of people in here that are already supporting Phil, and I respect that. But I would love to have your support. I hope that in this 10 minutes I've at least given you a sense of how deep my conviction is about this. I'm not quitting, or it's not because I'm aggravated, or because I hate working with Ted Cruz, although I can assure you that I truly hate working with Ted Cruz more than you could possibly know. Not only that, I hate the fact that my obituary will always be tied to Ted Cruz, because so far the most watched speech on the Senate floor in history was my beatdown of Ted Cruz. I want you just to reflect on it. I know, Ted. I want you just to reflect on it. I would love your support. This is going to be a tough time for America. It's going to be a tough time for Colorado. I believe Colorado can be a beacon to this nation. And I tell you, my getting out of the Senate seat means that we're going to have somebody in the Senate who's less than 50 years old representing Colorado. And I think that would be an awesome outcome for our state. An awesome outcome for our state. Thank you, House District 6. I love you. I love you. I am grateful for everything you're doing. I would love your support. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
To your Senate seat. If we're going to change, would you appoint Mike Johnson or Julie Gonzalez?
What?
Would you appoint Mike Johnson the mayor?
I would have to defer to the timekeeper to see if I can have an answer, but it's up to her.
Happy, let him answer.
Thank you. Here's my answer to you. It's not going to satisfy you, but this is what I would say. We have those two people are very, very talented. We have an incredibly talented bench in this state. Rock stars in Colorado. Rock stars in Colorado. Why do you want me to die on the floor of the U.S. Senate and take another 20 years out of the service of the kind of people you're talking about?
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Senator Bennett. For those of you who are paying attention, we do have an election coming up. And so to talk about that upcoming election is our very own clerk and recorder, Paul Lopez. So please give it up for Clerk Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, Senator. Thank you.
Oh yeah, slide. So I'm Paul Lopez. I'm the clerk and recorder for the city and county of Denver. This is Sonia Garcia Olivari, my senior advisor. My daughter, who's just fresh from studying abroad in Paris, is back there. Can you believe it? A little West Side kid running around in Paris doing like study abroad. So she's back there too. Like that. Election. We are coming up on election day. I think we are E-26 or E-28. I should know this by now. E-22, I believe. 28. E-28 out of my head. That means on June 8th, we are mailing your ballots to you. And on June 8th, you will now have 48 drop boxes. That's right, we added 2 more. The newest one's going to be in Athmar Park, at the Athmar Park Library, because that west side of town over there has been long underserved and underrepresented in terms of access to the polls, right? That's me when I had a haircut and access to shaving cream. Next one. Next one. Y'all know what I do. I marry people. Everybody has the equal right to be miserable. You got it with us. I am the public trustee. If you're going through foreclosure, we are the ones that are the referee in the game. We don't take sides. And I am your chief elections official. Next one. Notice how I'm using the force and it's actually working this time around, right? Yeah. So, preparing for the election cycle. Okay. A lot's been going on in D.C. since I've last been here. None of those executive orders have any standing in this state because of the Constitution. All right? You're going to accept your ballot in the mail, whether they like it or not. You're going to expect to be able to vote 22 days before the election, whether they like it or not. You're going to use a drop box and 48 of them, whether they fucking like it or not. Okay? And I say that with all respect, because it is everybody here. It is the Democrats. It is the Republicans. It is the folks that work together, the people who are putting country before party and believe in country before party so that our elections are solid. In 2013, they did that. They continue to do it now. I stand with my fellow clerk and reporters to make sure that everybody has access to the ballot box. And I don't mess around when I say that. Notice I didn't say the F, so I apologize for that. I'm a union guy. I'm a former union organizer. So, next one. Let's pick some scabs here, okay? 2020 was a very exceptionally weird year. We could all agree with that. Only thing good that came out of that is that they can deliver margaritas to your house. So 86% was turnout for the presidential election. In the state primary, that was 50% turnout. 2022, the last time we had the state primary, that was 28%. And then 2024, we had 22%. The last time I was here, I brought up some old trauma as well too, and I'm sorry that I keep bringing up trauma, but it is ridiculous that we only had 77% of the city and county of Denver turnout, a drop from 86% in the last presidential election. 37% of the people in this country did not have the guts to get out and go and put that ballot in and go vote. We're in a predicament because of apathy.
Yeah.
Okay? The opposite of progress is apathy. And the opposite of love is apathy. So what are we about? Action, right? We're about voting. We're about participating and creating that culture of participation. We're expecting about 40% turnout for the state primary. Please prove me the hell wrong. Please prove me the hell wrong in Denver that we can actually hit Eclipse 2020. Next one. Active voters. Active voters versus registered voters. Registered voters, we are over 500,000 registered voters here in the city and county of Denver. Active voters show the folks that we mailed to and they returned their ballot. They voted in one election. When we mail you your ballot, it doesn't get forwarded to them. It comes back to us. So when we talk about active voters, we need to see confirmation by them voting again that they actually exist. Did they move to Chicago? I don't know. Did they move to Lakewood? I don't know. Right? So we know that they're there. We're not clicking them off the rolls. That's the difference between active and inactive. Right? Total turnout, 22% in the state primary election. We can do better. Voted ballots delivered by mail and drop box. A lot of people say, well, most of the ballots most people vote by mail in Colorado. Wrong. Most people vote by drop box in Colorado. Only 9% of people vote by mail. And this time around, and don't worry, I got my blessing from the USPS. I went over to the union and got my blessing from the USPS, so I can totally sin right now. By saying, please put it in one of our drop boxes, no post is necessary. Don't put it in the hands of the postmaster right now.
Yes.
Okay? If you must do it, and do it early. It is one of the ways to vote. Okay? And 9% of Denver still does that. The other, I think I'm like, this is like West High School. I think I'm late to a class.
Yep.
And so, the other thing is only 11% of people actually vote in person. Please, for the love of God, do not stand in line for the sake of standing in line. Okay? Especially now. They can't mess with you in line. They can't intimidate voters. They can't send rogue agents to go over there and harass you 24 hours a day, 22 days during the election. So please pick one of those 22 days. We'll put it in a Dropbox, okay? Next one. Young people, under 24, dismal participation. 17% of young people in Denver voted in the last election. That's pathetic. We have to do better. I'm saying this as a 47-year-old. I'm young in my mind, not young in my knees. Not young when I look in the mirror, right? But I'm talking young people my daughter did. Okay? Turnout depends greatly on what's on the ballot. If there's nobody excited, if I'm not giving you any reason to come to the ballot, that's my problem. We have to make sure that we are giving folks something to vote for. If you can't tell the difference between parties, that's not their problem. That's our problem.
Yep.
If you can't tell the difference between candidates, that's not their problem. It's our damn problem. We're not addressing the fact that for us, we had to do duck and cover drills for tornadoes. They have to do active shooter drills. You know how much it pains me to know that my daughter as a child, a little girl, would be the one that would have to do the active shooter, put the chair so the door doesn't open? What kind of world is that we live in? We have to make sure that we are engaging young people. We have to. And it cannot be us doing, I can't do it as a 47-year-old man doing a TikTok thing. That doesn't work. It has to be with our young people. We have 36 high schools that we're working with our engaging team that Sonia oversees. And in those high schools, again, it's back and forth between East High School and Paul Sandoval campus. Skip that one out there. They keep going back and forth of who gets the award for the highest turnout. 36 high schools we have active registrars and people that are registering people to vote. However, getting people to vote is a completely different story. And it has to do with, is there a voter in that household? Is there a voter in the household where a young person votes? Is there a culture of participation that's being passed on? Are we knocking on doors of folks who are not high propensity voters? Because that's where they're at, right? So, next one. We've seen this map, the inverted L. I was a city councilman for 12 years. And we bark about this inverted L all the time. This is segregation in our time, in our city. Even when times were better. The same map that you see, the dark blue, is where you have high propensity voters. You have people voting in the last elections. It's also the same where you see trees. It's also the same where you see childhood poverty. It's also the same where you see young people. It's also the same where you see people of color. In essence, we need to concentrate in those precincts if we want to move the ball forward. In a campaign, it's easy for us to be able to say, those of us who have campaigned, say, hey, here's your target number, here's your win number, here's the high propensity voters, those are the precincts you have to go after, don't pay attention to the rest. You know what they say in Sun Valley when I did the presentation? Why don't people vote in Sun Valley? It's because nobody ever comes by. We need to flip the script. If you want things to happen, you want to change this inverted L, you want equity to take place in this country, yes, in this country, but in this city, and this liberal city of Denver, that we think that this will be a common understanding, then we have to engage areas that are not typically high propensity voters. Okay? We have to do that every cycle. Next one. June 30th, primary election day. I hate calling it election day. It is the last day to turn in your ballot. Okay? No later than 7 p.m. 48 boxes now. 48 is double of what we had 6 years ago when I started in this role. Okay? That is what we have to do. We are on track for 2 more to 50 by November. All right, 50 for every single state of this union. I'm not even counting Puerto Rico and DC, so that'll be coming up soon. Unaffiliated voters have surpassed any other affiliation in Denver.
Yep.
That's the other part. A lot of our young people are unaffiliated. The more people you're going to encounter are unaffiliated. And that's one, because of automatic registration, which is great. But two, because the DMV is not going to tell you objectively. I can't tell you objectively if it's a Republican and a Democrat, right? Neither can you. So, know that cannot be ignored, those unaffiliated voters. Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. So, another thing. Unaffiliated voters will get those 2 ballots again in their envelope. One Republican, one Democrat. Fill out one or the other, not both. Don't join the 612 people that turned in both and had their votes canceled out.
Oh, darn.
Okay? All right. So, the Super Bowl is coming early. The Super Bowl will be November 3rd. We're treating it like a presidential election. This was the fuss and the fight over the budget because we have to be able to have every single opportunity to keep those ballots open, keep those VSPCs open, everything. So because we are preparing for what is going to be probably a very, very high turnout in the November election. Don't focus just on November. The important thing right now is the primary. But that November election, keep that in your mind, okay? Ballots are mailed 22 days prior to election day. That's going to change in November. I'll talk to you before, after this last election, and tell you to change it. But at the end of the day, you have 22 days. June 8th is when they're mailed out. Okay, next one. You already know what's on the ballot. I'm pretty sure you're converted. You already converted. Next one. Key primary election dates. The May 16th, we had already transmitted our UOCAVA, our overseas military ballots, so those are coming in. You can go right now in Denver elections and go vote. We have booths for you to come vote if you wanted to vote today. Okay? Monday, June 5th, last day to change party affiliation. Coming right up. Any uncles or aunts that want to change or anything like that in the family that, cooks over, you can, whichever what you believe in. So that is the 5th for this election. Ballots will be mailed out. Voting service and polling centers, nerd speak for vote centers, will open in phases like they always do every week. Okay? The main one is going to be Denver Public Library because we're tired of the shenanigans in the city where they said charge us $179,000 just to use our own facility at McNichols. Okay? June 30th, last day to vote. Next one. So yeah, Denver Public Library is a heck of a partner. Their new space. That's where the central vote center is going to be. Plenty of parking. And it's a library. They're heck of great partners. Ballot drop boxes in HD6. Botanic Gardens, Montclair Rec, Windsor Gardens. Vote centers will be Christ Church United Methodist right here. Montclair Rec Center, multi-county VSBC box. This is important because we're trying to get the box number 49 at the Rose Center, the portable housing that's there. We've on Colfax. We've tried for the last year and a half. They say their investor had a problem with the some kind of clause with liability or something like that. Turns out their investors Wells Fargo. Surprise. They've given us a stiff arm for the last year and a half because they believe that their vision of affordable housing doesn't include democracy for the people that live there. So, go give them hell if you want to. We are trying to get that box situated there. We're working with Councilman Chantal Lewis to make sure that's the case. Box number 49, if we can get it, I'll let you know. That's going to be critical because it's right on that Colfax, not by the, yes. Martin Luther King Jr. Library, multi-county box, us, Adams, and Arapahoe. If you're ever in that area, you know that it's confusing which side is Adams, which side is Denver, which side is Arapahoe. We share a box and we share a vote center. It's such that we won a national award for doing it. So Clerk Zagabon, the other Clerk Lopez, just call me the other Clerk Lopez. So Joan Lopez, myself, we put our heads together. It is an amazing center, and it's poetic justice that it's at the MLK Library. Okay, Eloise May Library is the other one that we're working with the Arapahoe. You can put your ballot in any box in the state. Okay, and it will get to us. We work together to make sure that doesn't matter if you work or live in Denver, work or live in Arvada, whatnot, you can put it in any box as long as it's 7 p.m. before 7 p.m. on election day. We work to make sure that we get those in our county, okay? Next one. Talk to you about mail-in ballots. Those rules that postmark doesn't work for us because that's not our law. Has to be in the clerk and recorder's hands by 7 p.m. on election day. Okay? Again, you have 3 ways to vote. We love that you have 3 ways to vote. But don't mess around. Do some justice for this. Put it in one of those drop boxes. No postage necessary. It is in our possession immediately. Okay? Maintaining polling site safety free from intimidation. Worked with the mayor recently and the city attorney and the chief of police. They have confirmed. We asked them. We said, this is what we need. If any agent or anybody, regardless of who they're affiliated with, tries to interfere with an election, we're going to arrest them. Okay? The importance of voting early, told you that. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till drama. Don't give them the opportunity to try to intimidate and shake down folks at the polls. Here's the other thing, too. Please call us first. I know there's a lot of election protection allies out there and things like that. We are all well-intending, but please don't post anything on social media if it has not been confirmed, because if you're going to do that, then all of a sudden if you say, hey, I saw somebody that looks like they're intimidating voters at Hiawatha Davis, which they did last time, right? Shared it 300 times, was shared 300 times, all over the place, it turned out to be false. Actually scared people away from voting at Hiawatha Davis. Okay, so call your clerk and recorder first. If there's anything, we can confirm it. We have eyes on every single box in vote center. And then we can work with our partners doing that. If you're going to mail your ballots, do it at least a week. But please, use those drop boxes. We have more in any region in this part of the country. There are areas in the South that don't have one. Do it justice, right? Next one. I can go into this, but we don't have that much time. But that new rule that requires states to submit USPS every mail voters form, all that other stuff, it doesn't impact the state primary election, and it's illegal.
Yep.
So we're going to be fighting that, but at the end of the day, that's all we have our drop boxes. Next one. Y'all know what to do. 913 vote. Hit us up. Vote early. Vote early. Vote box, and give us a call if you have any trouble. Okay? Give your quick recorder a call. Any questions before we have to turn it over?
We don't.
All right. No time. You know what to do. Get the word out about the box. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. See you Friday. Before I introduce our last speaker, and then we'll go into the PO stuff, I did want to acknowledge one of our elected officials who is here, Councilman Chris Hines from Council District 10. Thank you for being here. And now it is my huge pleasure to introduce one of my favorite people, Senadora Julie Gonzalez, candidate for U.S. Senate.
HD6, how are y'all doing today? I don't know, HD6, how are y'all doing today? I'm fired up and ready to go. My name is Julie Gonzalez. I am running for the U.S. Senate here in the state of Colorado because I am sick and tired of do-nothing Democrats. I believe that in this moment, when we are living in the richest country in the history of the world, the idea that we are only gauging our economic success by what Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and the NASDAQ stock exchange tell us, as opposed to judging the caliber of our society by how we take care of our babies and our elders, that to me gives us a sense of where our moral compass is at in this moment, and I think it's broken. When we are going and witnessing Republicans in Washington, D.C. go and strip our social safety nets in order to pay for tax cuts for billionaires, y'all, I got fired up.
Yes.
I believe that it's time for Medicare for all. I believe that it is time for universal child and elder care. I believe it's time to abolish ICE. And I believe that it is time to elect the first woman in Colorado's history to the U.S. Senate. So with that, look, no one is coming to save us but us. Look around in this room, HD6, because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. I'm sick and tired of being told that we have to settle for crumbs.
Yes.
What we need in this moment are leaders with a backbone to stand up to the billionaires and the corporate lobby in order to advance the solutions that we know that we need. That we've been told for way too long that we just, if only there was something that could be done. And so with that, what I want to do is I want to spend as much time as possible with you all hearing what questions you have for me. What questions do y'all have? What frustrations are coming up for you in this moment? What hopes do you want to see change in Washington, D.C.? What is it that you want your next U.S. Senator to stand up and lead on? I see one, and then two, and then we'll go from there.
Senator, gracias. So, what I would love to see is a young woman inspiring my young women.
Yes.
So I would love to see that.
What other? Thank you. Thank you. I want to say that while you're passing over that mic, that we are one of 4 states that has never elected a woman to serve either as governor or to serve in the U.S. Senate. You want any guesses on what the other states are?
Red states.
Alabama, not one of them.
Wow, that's
Other states, other guesses? Georgia, nope. Oklahoma, nope.
Louisiana?
Nope.
Mississippi.
Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Idaho. Y'all, I think we can do better.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Welcome.
Can you hear me without a microphone? No.
Use the microphone for folks
Okay.
online.
Actually wrote this down for Senator Bennett, but I'll ask you
Sweet.
because the Democratic Party brand is tarnished.
Mm-hmm.
There are more independents than either Democrats or Republicans in the state. How do we repair the brand? How do we get people to vote for Democrats and not just against Trump or whoever the next person is? How do we get people to want to be Democrats?
Thank you for the question. Look, 2 weeks ago we launched our It's About Time tour, and we've been traveling the state listening to Coloradans. What I know to be true in this moment is no disrespect and no shade to Senator Hickenlooper and Chuck Schumer's Incumbent Protection Program. Yeah, but what they do is they go and they raise as much money as they possibly can, and then they're going up with ads and trying to blast the airwaves instead of showing up and listening to Coloradans and meeting the moment.
yes.
And so how do we show up and remind Democrats that we are fighting for the same values, that we are working to build an economy that works for folks like us? Unless there's any secret billionaires in the room.
It was me.
Homie.
Sorry.
Homie. No. First and foremost, you win back Democrats by, and you win back unaffiliated, and you win back the Republicans who have gone and voted for Trump, but did not vote for like the Epstein files, did not vote for murdering American citizens in broad daylight and then calling them domestic terrorists. They didn't vote for forever wars, right, with no justification. We build back that coalition by first and foremost showing up. There have been at least 3 debates that Senator Hickenlooper has declined. And my sense of this moment is that any elected official, any candidate who is asking for your vote ought to be able to, I don't know, show up and tell you what their vision is for the next 6 years. So first and foremost, show up. Second, listen to people. Take the critique. Listen and internalize it. I know that it's harder. I know that it takes more time. I know that it takes more resource. But you end up with better policy as a result, and people stop feeling isolated and are instead reminded that we can have nice things if we're willing to stand up and fight for them. Third, what I would say is Team Red and Team Blue are both getting played by billionaires and the corporations who are funneling dark money into our politics. And so I'm sick and tired of Team Blue acting like we can be the Diet Coke alternative and just take less dark money. No, we need to, I'm just saying, we need to divest ourselves from corporate PAC money. We need to overturn Citizens United and return our democracy back to being by, for, and of the working people of this country. Thank you for asking the question. 1, 2.
What would you do about the drastic cuts to scientific research in this country and your stance on climate change?
Just repeating for folks who maybe didn't hear, what would I do to reverse the drastic cuts on science research, and what is my position on climate change? First and foremost, I believe I would not have voted for Secretary of Energy Chris Wright just because he's from Colorado. And I don't know if they like drink fracking fluid together or something. Not my story to tell. Not my story to tell. But instead, I would prioritize research because the interruptions to funding that are taking place now are disastrous and will take not just days or weeks or months, years to rebuild and restore, first and foremost, right? Second, whether you like it or not, the climate crisis is here. And so I support a moratorium on data centers. I support an end to fracking in the state of Colorado. I support, and I'll just say, third, not only, when we're going back to this data center question, not only do I support the moratorium on the building and construction of those data centers, I support actually regulating the AI companies that are producing the slop that is infecting our brains and then creating the need for all of those data centers to exist. Y'all may have heard of the data center that is getting built in Salt Lake City that takes more water per day than the entire city of Salt Lake City. I'm sorry, at a certain point, y'all, this has to stop. The third thing that I would do is hold corporate polluters to account so that they can no longer go and build in the fines and fees into the cost of doing business. Thank you so much. Fourth question.
What's some of the legislation that you helped pass in Colorado that you're the most proud of?
Girl, how much time you got? I've passed over 200 bills in the 8 years that I've been in the Colorado State Senate. I will just say that it's one of the reasons that I actually support term limits, not only for members of Congress, but also for the U.S. Supreme Court. Because when I came in to the state legislature, I knew that I only had 4 years. And when you only have 5 bills that you can present without having to ask for the good graces of your leadership for a late bill, then that meant that I had to be very intentional about what my first 5 would be for those next 4 years, and that was 20 bills that I could make sure what would be the policies that I would use in order to leave my mark. And so with that, passing the Colorado Voting Rights Act, passing Senate Bill 25001, passing the Reproductive Health Equity Act to ensure before Roe v. Wade fell that Coloradans were protected and that people could continue to access abortion care. Abolishing the death penalty in the state of Colorado. Passing air toxics legislation in order to hold corporations like Suncor to account. I'll also say, though, that there have been policies that I have been incredibly proud of that our dear governor has gone and vetoed. Banning rent-setting algorithms, right, was a bill that first year the lobby killed. Second year, the lobby just went to our dear governor and lobbied him to kill, right? But I don't care whether it's happening in a smoke-filled back room or on a nice, clean algorithm. Collusion is collusion. Yep. And so the last policies that I'll say that I have been a champion on and a leader of over the past 8 years has been reminding ICE that the Constitution protects us all and that the 4th and the 10th Amendments also pertain to them. Okay. And so whether that has been breaking the link between local law enforcement and ICE, or whether that's been ensuring that our state isn't handing over, our local governments aren't handing over information to ICE unless and until ICE goes and gets an actual warrant signed by an actual judge, that's the work that I'm most proud of. Just think about what you could get if we have a battle-tested senadora in Washington, D.C. instead of the current incumbent. Friends, how many bills has he signed into law in his past 6 years? So just think about what we can achieve when we actually send someone who has done the hard work of legislating, right? Think about what that can entail. Please. 2, 3. Yep.
The only thing I really want from you is to be yourself. I want an AOC, I want a Bernie, I want a Jasmine Crockett, and that's who you are. Please be loud, just be who you are. That's really all I want from you. 2, but I really love personally on the Medicaid for all. And last year, between leaving law school and then being on Medicaid and now being on a regular employment insurance, I've changed insurance 3 times. I had to go get all primary care doctors, eye doctors, dentists, dentist every single time I have to get my prescriptions, if for no other reason than just convenience and logic. I shouldn't have to keep changing every time my life slightly changes. So that is one thing. I just want to thank you for running. Whether you win or not, just thank you for being a voice. I saw you for years in the legislature when I used to work there. See who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, why do you think it is that we can't have Medicare for all? Right? You all remember the Affordable Care Act negotiations back in the good old days of Barack Obama? But you also saw just how vicious the corporate lobby and big pharma came out in order to kill the public option, right? And do you think that for a minute that when we do the work to advance Medicare for all, that they aren't going to come and try to lobby that policy to death, right? Death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? And so why can't we have nice things? Because we have a lobby that is more interested in maintaining the status quo in order to maintain their real healthy profits, right? And I do not believe that healthcare, that care of our babies and our elders, that education can be commodified. Those are public goods. Those are public goods, and we ought to be treating them as such. And we ought to be taxing the billionaires and the corporations that they control in order to pay for it. So thank you for asking that. And I'm going to try my damnedest to be just myself and as authentic as I can be so I can sleep well at night. Thank you.
We're going to do a quick question over here. And then one more.
Sweet. All right. You get the last one.
Well, I'm just a simple, dumb guy from Ohio. And I just have a few, it's like, to me, it just seems like the Democratic Party needs to just have their agenda and what we stand for. And I just wrote down a few things. It's like you said, single-payer Medicare for all, elder care, child care, school breakfast and lunch because people bond over food. Let me look here. And have unionization, get the $20 an hour for minimum wage, and work from home as much as you can because that's for families, that's for people, and abolish ICE, of course. Love thy neighbor or something like that, or love thy stranger, something. There was something I don't know that Republicans love. But they love that saying, but I don't know, or whatever they do. Abolish for-profit prisons. Let's go. That's Geo Group, and
let's go.
Yeah, and City Core, what they do, and what do we have here? We have I can't read. Reasonable taxation, like when America was great. In the 50s and 60s, when women couldn't vote and all that good stuff, and people couldn't vote, to have 90+% taxation above a certain level of corporate profits, and tax the billionaires out of existence, tax the oil companies out of existence. And to have some kind of universal basic income to where, some people are gonna, people can say like, oh, we gave $500 a month to some people and a few percent of them did drugs or something, but we gotta love them and they're gonna, but if someone's working at 95% efficiency, that's pretty good. There was a study in Canada.
The one here in Denver.
Yeah. When you have universal basic income.
We only have 1 minute. Please.
Okay. Yeah, I'm almost done. Yeah, thank you. And and have Roe v. Wade and honor women and love women, and sometimes things happen and abortions happen and it's okay and we can love them because it's the pedophile Republicans that.
Thank you.
They impregnate the women and then they just run away and then they throw them in a lake or whatever they do. But what happens? I don't know. But my point is just to have a agenda as Democrats to say this is what we're for. This is what we're for.
Thank you. what I will do is I will just say that in this moment, saying that I'm going to stand up and fight against Trump when we have been living under MAGA extremism now for over a decade. Look, I started organizing back when it was. Do you want me to respond? All right. Cool. Thanks. So what look, I started organizing back when Colorado was a trifecta red state. And I guess at that time when I was doing immigrant rights and affordable housing organizing and educational justice organizing, because things were hard, I guess I could have just taken my ball and gone home, right? But we didn't do that. We did the work to actually go and turn Colorado from being a blue state, from a red state, to being a purple state, to being the faintest of sky blue states, to now being a true blue state, right? And now my question is, how are we showing up in the midst of a trifecta blue state under a trifecta red federal government? That's why, friends, I think we got to walk and chew gum at the same time. We got to flip red seats blue and build that governing majority, and we've got to do the work to examine the caliber of Democrats that we send to Washington, D.C. from the safe blue state, like right here in Colorado. Look, my name is Julie Gonzalez. I'm getting the hook. So, thank you, sir. Look, my name is Julie Gonzalez. I ain't got $4 million in the bank like John Hickenlooper does. Even if $4 million drops from the sky tomorrow, the man has doubled his personal wealth over the 6 years that he has been in the U.S. Senate, and he could drop $4 million of his own money into the race the day after. And for that reason, money ain't going to solve this. People are going to solve this. So if you've heard anything, I want to introduce you to my organizing team, Elena Martinez Viva and Sierra Rodriguez, political director, organizing director. If you want to sign up for an organizing shift, if you want to make phone calls, if you want a yard sign, if you want to go and tell your friends and host a house party, if you want to do a ballot organizing party, y'all, let's go. Because organized people beat organized money every single time. Thank you all so much.
Let's hear it for the Senadora.
May I just say one more thing? Because I heard that there was a question asked about me regarding Senator Bennett appointing me to a particular Senate seat. I'm sorry, friends. My plan is to be busy. Yes. Because I plan to be running for the Democratic nomination for this seat right here in November. Thank you all very much.
All right, so we have one thing left, but I do want to thank, I don't know where Andrew is. Andrew Fisher, where are you? You all know Andrew's a former 6'8" captain. But I want to thank Andrew for bringing all the equipment here and getting us set up, because sometimes I feel lost without Andrew. So thank you. And the last person I'm going to introduce, and he'll introduce somebody else, is our first vice chair of the Denver Democratic Party, my good friend and our amazing vice chair, Matthew Logan.
All right, thank you so much, HD6. I love seeing a packed room in here. Thank you for hanging in there pretty tight. Real quick, I'm going to be doing a PO overview. I know initially it was advertised as a training. I'm not going to be doing a training. I'm just going to be promoting some upcoming trainings that the Denver County Party is going to be hosting for precinct organizers this month, throughout the rest of the summer. But before I get into that, we are working on a very exciting project as a county party, and that's to create a new initiative, which is called the Veterans Council. So who in here, by show of hands, is a veteran or happens to know a veteran?
I do. I work at the VA.
Perfect. It's a group that we as a party have to do a better job of reaching out to, and so I'm going to go ahead and hand it off real quick to Brian Ihara, who is helping spearhead the Veterans Council effort.
Thanks, Matthew. keeping you guys away from bed, and I got to follow a sitting U.S. Senator and the next U.S. Senator from Colorado. I'm Ryan Waihara. I'm a relatively new Denver resident. I live in HD5. I'm the son and grandson of Army veterans. I also served in the Army from 2010 to 2015. And like Matt said, we're starting a Veterans Council here in Denver for the Democratic Party. There's a lot of things for veterans to be upset about right now. There's a lot of things that family members of veterans and supporters of veterans should be upset about. We got a war going on in Iran that has cost over 12 American service member lives, countless civilians, and also injured a bunch of U.S. troops, people I served with, folks that you know who I've served with. We've got a federal workforce that has been decimated. I'm a former federal worker. My partner got fired from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They fired thousands of veterans as part of that. So there's a lot of things that veterans should be upset about, and that's what we're going to be doing with the Veterans Council. First, following the Senadora's example, we're going to be organizing and being out in the community because it's important that Democrats show up in veteran spaces because veterans fundamentally are some of the last trusted messengers in America. And then as part of that, we're also going to be organizing because we've got Gabe Evans up north, Army veteran who's anti-veteran. We got other folks in Colorado Springs that are running who are veterans. And so we need to make sure we're organizing, talking to our friends and family, talking to other veterans and being in those spaces. So my co-founder, Miles Blakely, who's in HD6 that I think a lot of folks know, he can't be here today, but we are hosting a happy hour a week from tomorrow at Beer Scott in Rhino. Would love for folks to join. There's a sign-up sheet over there with a QR code. Please show up. It's not just veterans. It's supporters of veterans. It's family members of veterans. And we're going to build a movement here together. And thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And you guys have no idea how hard he and one of our other fellow HD6 members, Miles Blakely, have been working on this project. It's very crucial to reach out to this very important community. And so I really thank them for spearheading that work. And I'm excited to support them. Real quick, before I let you all go, I just wanted to give a few updates on what's happening with our precinct organizers and with some upcoming trainings. But before I do that, I'm going to do another show of hands. Who in here is a precinct organizer? Okay, I'd love to see it. Perfect. So, as you know, as a party, if there's anything you took away from the candidates or from our county clerk and recorder, Paul Lopez, tonight, it's that we need to be getting everyone to vote in our primary elections, in our general elections. Our job as a party, not just to make sure people are informed about candidates, informed about the issues, is to make sure they're actually voting on those, that they're activated, that they're organizing. And so being a precinct organizer is the most crucial position in this party. I, as a first vice chair, believe in a servant leadership style. Our job as senior leadership in the party is to be giving our precinct organizers all of the tools and resources they need to organize, to activate people in their communities, because POs, they know their neighborhoods better than I could possibly know their neighborhoods.
I do.
I live in 608. I have no idea how we can talk to some folks in District 8, in District 9, and so forth. So it's very important that, you know, we're feeling ready, that we're feeling confident, that we have the tools and resources necessary to get people to turn out to vote in our primaries and in our generals. And the way that we do that has been through a series of trainings we've been hosting throughout the spring, throughout the summer. I think I see a few people here who were able to attend our orientation back in April, as well as our essentials training back in May. But we're going to be hosting an additional precinct organizer training on June 21st. This is going to be a deep canvassing training. This is going to be the method of reaching voters, of getting them connected to the issues, getting them connected to the candidates, and getting them out to vote and to get their neighbors to vote as well. So June 21st, 1 p.m., that's a Sunday. That's going to be at our main office headquarters. That's at 3000 Lawrence Street. I would love to see as many folks turn out there. If you're not a PO and you'd still love to learn more about deep canvassing and how to get people activated, please show up. We need all hands on deck for this primary election for our generals. So if you are interested, if you're available, go to our Denver Democrats website, go to the events page, and RSVP. We'd love to see you on Sunday, June 21st. Thank you so much, guys. And please take food. Adjourn.